It's Wednesday, June 17th, 2020. Before I start this video out this evening, I want to thank every one of you who have come over to my Patreon channel. Thank you so much. If you haven't joined my Patreon channel, please come over and do so. It's like $3. It allows me a little bit more freedom on that platform than other platforms to openly discuss political events, current events, world events, American events, social events, you name it. I have more freedom on that platform to discuss more freely and openly of what's happening. So thank you to all the people who have come over to Patreon. Thank you so much. If you haven't, please get over and join my Patreon. If you can't find it, just go to my website, jeremiahbabe.com, and there's a Patreon button right there. You can join it. I'm trying to put out 2 to 3 videos a week. We're doing some security training. I'm talking more freely about current events. So please come over, support it. And we're going to continue to wake up more people and wake up the masses. God bless every one of you. Today, I want to talk about how each one of us can get involved and make a difference. People will write me from time to time and say, JB, what can I do to make a change? How can I get involved? How can I make a difference? Well, my answer to that has always been vote with your wallet, vote with your money, vote with your time. You know, where are you spending your money? Where are you spending your time? Where are your kids spending your money? Where are they spending their time? And I think if we really analyze that, I think we can make a big difference. Myself personally, I do not shop at Walmart, and I have not shopped at Walmart in a very long time. I do not spend money at Starbucks. I do not spend money with the NFL. I will not be spending any money with NASCAR. I will not be spending money with the NBA. I do not spend money on movies because I disdain Hollywood. These organizations and these groups, these companies are your enemy. They don't believe in what you believe in. They're going to take the money from that Starbucks, from Walmart. They're going to take that money from Dick's Sporting Goods. They're going to take the money from the NFL, and they're going to use it against you. So why, if we really care about this country, if we really care about what's happening socially, politically, with our religious beliefs, our freedoms, why would we give 10 cents to any one of these companies or organizations? Why would we spend 1 minute of our time with these groups? That's why Hollywood is getting neither my time or my money. The NFL is getting neither my time or my money. Walmart is getting nothing. Starbucks is getting nothing. Look, we've got to wake up, and we need to start supporting companies and organizations that believe in what we believe in. Why are we spending time and money with groups that are against us? There was an article here, Walmart tests self-checkout. And I saw this on the news on a couple different stations. Walmart wants self-checkout. You've been to the Walmarts, they all have self-checkout, and eventually they would love to just have 100% self-checkout. They don't want human cashiers. This is in a time where we have 40 million Americans jobless. And when you look at what has occurred over the last few months with the shutdown, well, Walmart got to stay open. Target got to stay open. Home Depot got to stay open. All the big box stores got to stay open. All the food chains, the corporate food chains, fast food, all got to stay open, except the mom and pop retailers didn't. The mom and pop little restaurants didn't get to stay open, but all the big boys got to stay open. They got all the breaks, and they even got bailouts, while the little pizza restaurant didn't get a bailout, while the little private coffee shop didn't get a bailout. But all the big corporate big boys all got bailouts, while the small business owner got screwed. So why are we supporting these companies? I'm going to tell you, I feel like a better human being since I haven't been in a Walmart. Just looking what is walking around in a Walmart, that right there, I don't miss at all. Knowing that I'm not supporting a company that supports slave labor in China. 90% of the products in that store are from China. One of our the biggest adversary of America militarily and economically is China. And here we are supporting Walmart. You know, if you're in an area where you can only shop at a Walmart because that's all that's around you, I get it. I understand that. But if you have choices, if you have any other option to shop somewhere else, maybe pay a little bit more, why not do that? Why give a company like Walmart your time or your money? A company that treats their own employees like slaves. It is just insane what Americans are putting up with. Half of the employees at Walmart are on some type of government subsidy. And yet Walmart is owned by one of the wealthiest families in the entire world. And they're making it off the backs of slave labor in China and off the backs of slave labor right here in America because they pay their employees peanuts. The article, a report by the Becker-Friedman Institute at the University of Chicago estimated 42% of layoffs that occurred will be permanent. So if we're looking at 40 million jobless right now, 50% of that is 20 million. So what's 42%? I'm gonna guesstimate here. It's about 16, 17 million. It's a huge number. Those are going to be permanent job losses. How do people think that this is going to be a V-shaped recovery? How do people even believe that this is going back to some normal? There is no normal. There has not been any normal. Things are not going back to any type of normal. Things are going to get very, very dangerous. But don't worry, we'll continue to keep bringing over millions of foreign workers from other countries to do whatever jobs are left that are available in America. So whatever Americans aren't doing while they're on unemployment, while they're getting $600 bonuses, we'll continue to bring over millions of foreign workers to do the jobs that are available. Then on top of that, we're going to have technology, we're going to have robotics that are going to replace millions of jobs. So ask yourself, why are we bringing over so many foreign workers when we know that we have technology and robotics replacing millions of jobs, when we know that 42% of the layoffs are going to be permanent, and we know that this economy is going to continue to hemorrhage, where more jobs are going to be lost. We're going to see more job losses than jobs created, in my opinion. And yet we're bringing over foreign workers. This is going to be disastrous. The article goes on to say, Bloomberg has predicted that 30% of U.S. job losses between February and May were a result of reallocation shock. Among the markets that were hit the most and that are the most at risk are in hospitality, retail, leisure, education, and health. And in my area, we've got a lot of hospitals here. We've got a lot of old people out here. We've got a lot of casinos. We've got a lot of resorts, hotels, restaurants. So leisure, hospitality, health. For areas like this, it's going to be very disastrous. Areas like Las Vegas, disastrous. Listen, I can't even imagine how bad this is going to be a few months from now. AT&T confirms thousands of job cuts, 250 store closings. This is on Axios. AT&T is planning widespread job cuts that include managers and executives, in addition to 3,400 technicians and clerical jobs. The 250 store closings will impact 1,300 retail jobs. So what will all these people do for a job? What are they going to do? What is the typical American going to do when the $600 bonuses run out? What will millions of Americans in forbearance on credit cards, mortgages, car loans, what are they going to do when they have to start paying the bills again? Because forbearance is temporary. It is kicking the can down the road. It is just holding off the inevitable. What do you think is going to happen when people have to start paying the bills again and they don't have a job and they don't have $600 bonuses? What happens when unemployment eventually runs out? They may extend it 6 months. They may not. But what happens when the extensions run out? Another article, 85% of independent U.S. restaurants may close by year end. Currently, independent restaurant revenues are on average 60% lower than last year's numbers. This, according to a report by the Independent Restaurant Coalition. Millions of jobs are at stake when we look at the restaurant businesses and how, when we look at the restaurant industry and how many jobs restaurants support in this country. It's incredible. It's millions. Millions of people are employed by the restaurant industry. If restaurants close, another thing, it's going to affect the unemployment numbers. It's also going to affect commercial real estate. I cannot stress how many vacant buildings there are here in Riverside County, San Bernardino County, two of the biggest counties in the country. And there are vacant buildings everywhere. Warehouses, offices, restaurants, retail shops, you name it. They are popping up everywhere daily. And if we see more restaurant closures, we're going to see more vacant commercial real estate. And we are going to see a absolute commercial real estate crash unlike we have ever seen in America. And I believe that is going to bleed over into a housing crash in America. Look, 40 million jobless. Ask yourself, who can get a job right now? People's credit is being destroyed currently. People have missed rent. They have missed mortgage payments. They've missed credit card payments. 5 million people in forbearance, being noted that they're in forbearance. All of this is going to be on people's credit. And most of all, if you don't have a job, how do you rent? If you don't have a job, how do you apply for a mortgage and get a mortgage? How do you buy a house? We are really in a very difficult place here in America, and I no doubt truly believe it is going to get much, much worse. Look, it is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. There is no answer on how to get out of this mess. We are printing money hand over fist with no end in sight. The debts, the deficits are ballooning out of control. The Fed's balance sheet ballooning out of control. Household debt, corporate debt, state debt, municipal debt. It is all ballooning out of control. Yet I'm just told that the Fed will just print more money and everything will be okay. Well, then why are we paying taxes? If the Fed can just print money to eternity, why are you and I even paying taxes? Why doesn't the Fed just give everybody $1 million? Why doesn't the Fed just give everybody a mansion and a Lambo and we never pay taxes and we just live in utopia forever? Why isn't that possible? Because it isn't possible. And that is why throughout history, when a country continues to print money, you get hyperinflation. And from hyperinflation, that fiat currency eventually dissolves and is no longer worth anything. It becomes worth zero. And that's where we're heading. I read a good article today by Peter Schiff. And in this article, he says if you're making money in this market, it's not because of a strong market. It's because the Fed is pumping a massive amount of money into the market. Anytime you hear someone say we're pumping money, we're pumping liquidity, just say to yourself, they're pumping in inflation, because that's what they're doing. So how could pumping money, pumping inflation into an economy be a good thing? It's not a good thing. It's very, very dangerous. Ask yourself, do we need more inflation in this economy? Do we need prices to be more expensive than they are now? Do you want the grocery store costs to be up even more than they are now? Do you want your rent payment, your mortgage payment to be up more, your health insurance to cost more? Is inflation really a good thing? I mean, the media tells us that inflation's healthy, it's good. I mean, that's a bold-faced lie. The last thing we need right now, especially in this economy, is higher prices. This is what happens when you pump money into the economy. You get inflation, you get higher prices. This isn't going to help anybody. This is going to hurt you. The more liquidity, the more money they pump into these markets, the more inflation and the more harm it is going to do to the average American. The government is not putting real products into the economy. It's not creating wealth. It's not adding resources. It's not creating anything of value with all this fake money. They're just putting numbers on a computer, not even putting them on paper. They're just electronically creating digits. How does this help you? How does this help the economy by just putting digits on a screen? The only group it's helping is that 0.001% on Wall Street. That's who it's helping. It's not helping you. And we are going to see severe ramifications from all of this money printing, from putting all these digits on a screen, from just living in this illusion, believing that there are no consequences. There are going to be severe consequences. Here's an idea. How about the government stop spending money that it doesn't have? How about households in America stop spending money they don't have? We're going to see a nation with all-time high unemployment. You know, if you're spending money you don't have right now, if you're spending money you do have, you better be very conscious of what you're spending that money on. This is the time to really be conscious of where that money's going. This is the time to be preparing. This is the time to hunker down. This is the time to prepare for the worst economic tsunami the world has ever seen. If you have a job right now, you're making money right now, you need to be smart right now. You need to be putting away for what is coming. We're a nation that doesn't make anything. We don't manufacture. We don't produce anything other than consumption, debt. We're a nation that is bankrupt. We're $26+ trillion in debt, not including unfunded liabilities like Medicare, Medicaid. We have massive unfunded pensions. We're a nation divided, a nation of obesity and drug addiction, a nation of wealth inequality, a nation of opportunity inequality, a nation where nearly half of the country lives in a household receiving government benefits. 21.3% of this nation is on government assistance. California has 4 million people on food stamps. And there are still people telling me out there, I shouldn't be preparing, you shouldn't be preparing. There's nothing to worry about. There's no threat to the American dream. There's no threat to America's future. There's no threat to the economy or your standard of living. These people are lying to you. Anybody telling you right now that everything is okay, they are lying to you. People telling you that the stock market is free and booming because the economy is doing well, they are lying to you. The stock market is booming because the Fed is printing a massive amount of money and pumping it into the illusion. The illusion is going to end, ladies and gentlemen. And when it does, the only thing that's going to matter is how you prepared. How you started preparing a year ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago. What you did back then is going to dictate how you survive, and if you survive, what is coming.